Mr. Kathir Kamanathan, the CEO of Chella Software and CEO of CAD Share Brokers, started his education in Sri Lanka and had studied his collegiate education at the Ivy League Institutes of India, Regional Engineering College, Trichy, as well as Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta. After finishing his bachelor's in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Regional Engineering College, Tiruchirappalli, he went on to be recruited from into multinational company Philips Meditech, and then later switched to Indian Institute of Calcutta to pursue his postgraduate diploma in business management. Finished with flying colors in finance, and was absorbed as a management trainee with Hindustan Unilever Limited. Then on his father's call, he had come back to Madurai, looked after his father's business, the CAD Shares and Stocks Trading Company, which was one of the pioneers in establishing the digital transactions way back in 1995 as a member of National Stock Exchange. Magan Tande Katru Mudavi, even Tande Yenotram Golden Soil Rimbaga, அது மாதிரி அவ்வளோ சிறப்பாக அவங்க அப்பாவுக்கு ரொம்ப சிறப்பாக வேலை பார்த்து கொடுத்துருந்தாங்க. அப்புறம் on his, he wanted to pursue his passion on software, so he branched out and started a company called Chella Software in Madurai. Today, one of the biggest software company started by an Indian citizen. Started by an Indian citizen in Madurai is Chella Software. So we should all be proud of that. Chella Software, they are giving solutions for risk management in stock exchanges. One of the primary customers was National Stock Exchange of India. Then they subsequently branched out to Middle East, Africa, as well as in Far East Asia. So with these few words, I present before you the chief guest for the day, Mr. Kathir Kamanathan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ganesh, for the nice introduction. As Mr. Kathir sir takes over the dais, let me add a few more words. Kathir is confined to his own world. He dreams big and achieves it. For those who happen to meet him only today, his firm Can & Co was the first to start NSE online trading in Madurai, and those who are stock market investors for the past 10 to 20 years would have been his client at one point or other. Kathir's inquisitiveness led to debug many of the problems in the nascent online trading platform, which eventually led NSE to buy out his solutions with suitable compensations. Since then, Kathir has been instrumental in developing and implementing software solutions for many stock exchanges across the globe. While many may feel that it is not possible to grow from a small town like Madurai, here is the man who proved them wrong. His company Chella Software is headquartered in Madurai, servicing clients across the globe. In spite of all these achievements, Kathir maintains a low profile and probably prefers low visibility. Today we are fortunate to have this simple, down-to-ground, humble and ever-smiling entrepreneur, past chairman of Confederation of Indian Industry Madurai, Kothamangalam, Shri Annamalai Kathir Kamanathan. Over to you, sir, for the keynote address.
Never have I received such glowing praise from anyone. So thank you so much. It's a great delight and an honor to be here. Truly honored to be invited as a chief guest to this. I'm humble because I have a lot to be humble about. So I think a lot of that is, it's good for a prize, but it has its own hard work and its own hard work essentially. So I'll start off with what I personally have gained from my own interactions with the community, being a part of the community. I think some examples were given by speakers before me. See, essentially, I think there were some incidents. I'll give you one incident where at one point of time we were looking at constructing a building, and then we went for a loan to SIDBI. Finally, we didn't take the loan, but then we were talking to SIDBI for the loan. So two people had come up to the office and were discussing the terms of the loan and so on. So one of them said, apart from the primary collateral, they wanted additional collateral for the loan, right? And I said, I can't give a collateral. The other fellow who had come along with the manager said, see, he's a Nagaratar. He's not going to give you additional collateral, but he will pay you your loan back in time. So that is how he introduced me to the manager. And the negotiation stopped there. I mean, you had nothing more to say. This happened in Madurai, and I was so taken aback that that the reputation of the community goes so far beyond our own business. In another instance, there was this we were recruiting a young lady for work, and one of our people was telling her parent father had accompanied her. So one of our people who was interviewing the lady was telling the father, it's likely they will have to stay back a little late. We have these deliveries, and we were not sure of the time. So likely that it will be delayed. Are you sure that being a lady, it's okay? And he said, see, this is a Nagaratar organization. I have complete trust. I know my daughter is safe with you. That's again, the social capital that we inherit. See, this is something, you get a free pass into a lot of things just by being a Nagaratar. I think this is quite amazing, the kind of work that the others have done before us, the kind of reputations that they've built, and the trust that they've kept, is something that we all benefit from. And I think we are obligated to pass that on to the subsequent generations. And I'm truly blessed to be born in this community, a community of very ethical businessmen and professionals, and who also made a mark or set the standards for philanthropy and for generosity. There are so many instances. People mentioned the schools and colleges the community has started. I remember. I'm told that one point of time in Tamil Nadu there were just about 3 or 4 major educational foundations. Of those, 3 of them were Kathir Foundation, of the 4. So I think the people before us have really led the way, and so blessed to be part and to be born in this community. Madurai is a big place for Nagaratars. I think there are many. I'm told about 5,000 families in Madurai, second only maybe to Chennai. And therefore it's quite nice that NCC has started its chapter here. And because of the large number of people, I think it's got the potential to make a big impact. I think one, people mentioned during my talk that during the discussion that I had, there are the other associations. You have these Marwati associations, the Sindhi associations, and so on, which are very, very good. They really do extremely well for their own community. I think we should also look at what the Jewish associations do. The Jewish business councils, the Jewish chambers of commerce. Now, I think our community has a lot of parallels with the Jews. Basically being in money lending. We went outside of our country to earn money, which the Jews also did. And they also went through a problem. We also went through a problem right after the World War II. But they have coped in a very different way. And they are almost 100 times our size. About 1.5 crores, I think, in terms of size. But they command much more business than they command the what you can call the commanding heights of the American economy is all with them. In fact, the entire Western economy. I think we have a lot to learn from them. If you go to some of these sites, you'll see the collaboration and how well they work together, how well they network together, how well they help each other. I think that's an excellent model for somebody like us. With our footprint, with such a small community size, if we are able to make such a big impact, even without organizations like NCC, if we come together using, with the organizations like NCC, I think we can achieve a lot more, and it's very exciting for me. So for NCC in Madurai, I think if you were to look at, I think the number one agenda for the chamber is to promote entrepreneurship. Apart from networking and other things. If you can segment the population here in Madurai, I think you have the students, quite a bit of students. I think you already have a good plan to bring them in. I've heard a lot about it. And then you're also targeting housewives who are currently maybe in business, may want to get into business, may want to expand it and so on. And also the employees who are currently not in business, who are looking to get into business. And a little balking or a little not very sure of taking this risk and taking the leap into entrepreneurship. See, as far as students is concerned, my own experience is that when you must catch them young, and you give them as much exposure as possible when they are young. You see, in the road that I live, at the end of the road, there's this Anand called Subramaniam, R. Subramaniam from Natrasankote, I think. See, his son Udayappan, I think when he was in the 8th standard, and I was then running Can Stockbrokers. In the 8th standard, Udayappan, he brought his son along, and then said he's going to be with you for a month. So you just treat him like a normal employee. Ask him to do all sorts of odd jobs. They are very, very well-to-do people, but he still wanted his son to get that experience. And he said, you can give any sort of job, and then you can ask him to maybe maintain inventory or do something, and then he will do everything for you. Now, even if you have to ask him to get water, he will get you water. The exact words that he used. So Udayappan was with us for about a month and a half, and did such a good job. We gave him this job of regularizing inventory. Then we had physical shares. Today you have shares in demat form. At one point of time we had shares in physical form, and a lot of customers would come and give you the share certificates and ask you to keep it with you and then sell. You would keep custody of that, safe custody, and then therefore you maintain registers and so on. This boy did such a good job. I think it was amazing, and I think he also picked up a lot from this. We benefited, he benefited, and then I tried the same with my own son. So when my son was in his engineering, I called up Nagappa Motors in Kekanagar, and then my son went there for about a month and a half to be with them, including in service, including in various divisions, to be part of the business. I think this is the culture that we can probably promote a lot more actively. Even at a very young age, maybe just in their school students, maybe, but even in their college students. A more formal internship is something that we should also consider. I think that is an eye-opener for many students. If they come for, I think all of us at least need to take at least one student, maybe a year. We should be pledged to do that. For the student, whoever it is, I think coming out and working in an organization as an intern is a very different experience. Some organizations go even far beyond internship. For example, you're allowed to shadow the CEO. It's called shadowing. So basically, he sits in the CEO's office. You're given a chair, sits in the CEO office. He's a part of every meeting, even when he's a student. He just observes. And by observing, I think they can be inspired quite a lot. They get to know, some they understand, some they don't understand, of course. But then they get to know how business is done, how the problems crop up, how people are, and how negotiations are done, and so on. I think these are good things that we can maybe pick up. And shadowing CEOs is there, I know, in many cultures. It is something that we can also start. Even if you do one person a year, I think that would be a very good turning point for the concerned student. I know several housewives. Archie is a very active, entrepreneurially very extremely active. But it's also true that there are several people with the economic background that is not very strong. They also want to be part of the, they also want to do something as a business. So I don't know. Chettinad Snacks is a very strong and a very powerful brand name. I don't know if you have tracked what Lijjat did with their puppets. They have a large number of people. They formed a cooperative, and then they've done it really well. They have very professional branding, professional marketing, because they've come together as a group, and they are able to scale heights that individually none of them can, because they're all from not so strong economic backgrounds. I think I've seen, unfortunately, that there are quite a few families where the backgrounds are not so strong, and therefore maybe you can look at something that you can do for them together as a cooperative, or something for them in areas where success is almost guaranteed. In a brand, you can't go wrong. I think they can do extremely well in these areas. For new entrepreneurs, new employees getting into entrepreneurship, I think one of the major stumbling blocks is how do I start a company? What are the legal issues? How do I handle regulations and so on? I don't know if the chamber is planning to have a legal counsel, as part of the chamber. I think it'd be good to have one. Yeah. I think sure. So you've been thinking through all of this. So it'd be good to have one. So when somebody starts, including the constitution, including the legal issues, I think there's somebody to go to and somebody to talk to. I think that will be very comforting. Somebody you trust to go to. I think is very comforting. So if you look at the history of Nagarathas, my own theory is that when we have always done well when the markets have been free and fair. Where we have struggled is when there is no sanctity of contract, when there is no open free market. For example, when we came back after the World War II, we went through a lot of trouble. A stigmatized business of money lending, contracts virtually unenforceable in courts, and a license raj. So even those who wanted to get into manufacturing had to go to license raj. And that is an environment, I think, where Chettiars did not thrive. The change that is happening now, I think the golden days for the Chettiars is actually starting, in my opinion. We are slowly but surely getting into an era where it's more free market. There is meritocracy. I can certainly see that in my business. I think more and more you'll see that in government businesses. It's already there in central government. I think it's mainly meritocracy. Sanctity of contract. You have a contract, you must be able to enforce it. Today it's still not there, but you're getting there. But when these things fall into place, I think that is really the fertile soil for Nagarathas to thrive and prosper. I think that is happening. And therefore I have big hopes that we will continue to do extremely well. We'll do very well in the coming days. There is so much that I have personally taken from the Nagaratha community. You have Tirupati and Anil who spoke so much about collaboration. Now I've personally gained from what he has done with this lands near Devakotai, but unconditionally and without anything in return. They've given so much of help in terms of setting up my own land right. I think they're almost for a year and a half. So it's not just empty words. I think they've actually put into practice what they are professing. I think if all of us do the same, the community can be widely different from what it is today. And it's actually quite exciting to be there. The one area where we have been traditionally strong is in finance. We have been bankers. We had a number of banks. We had a lot of these, money lending businesses, finance firms, and so on. But I think the period of the last few decades, where the money lending business went through a lot of trouble, many of us opted to get out, gone to other businesses. But the situation has changed. Back again. Now you find firms like Muthoot Finance, so many few people from Kerala who are really coming up in a big way. And they've taken away our businesses right at our doorstep, right at the backyard. They've taken most of the businesses away. Similarly, microfinance companies, there are so many of them, but we are not there. 20 microfinance companies have been permitted by RBI, but not one that is owned by the Chettiars. Somehow I don't know whether we're still shy of getting back into the business because of the experience that we have had. But I think others have gone into the business far more aggressively and have grown really large in that business. It's maybe time for us to look at some models that will work. Today the capital requirement is very large, so an individual cannot really start a big NBFC or a bank. But I think there has to be a Chettiar specific model that we should be able to work out. And then, if you can brainstorm this, I think it's not impossible to start a bank or a large NBFC and to get into the finance business again. And it's not just one or two. I mean, there are so many people doing money lending in a small way in several places. They can all get together and be part of this, this company that can be started. So, thank you so much for having invited me. It's already 8 o'clock. So I have no doubt that the NCC Madurai chapter will do its best not only to make incremental improvements to the life of Nagaratars here, but maybe even transformational change to the lives of Nagaratars, something that is really worthwhile for all of us to look forward to. And as you make progress, I'm sure all of us will be cheering on. Thanks to all of you, and thanks to the team from Chennai that's come all the way to get this chapter started. Thank you so much. Thanks.